Sports Talk. Let's go. Happy Monday, everyone. It's me, your boy, Ryan Flowers, a.k.a. Clutch Sports Talk in the house. Welcome to another edition of Clutch Sports Talk Live, man. I got another jam-packed show for you guys today. It's all football today, man. I got to talk about Deshaun Watson and the Miami Dolphins rumors. He might be heading down to South Beach. I don't know. How does Tua feel about that? I also want to break down the 2021 AFC preview and predictions. I'm going to go through all of the AFC divisions. I'm going to tell you who are my winners, who are my losers, and some players you need to look out for. Also tonight, I want to start a new segment called Is It Clutch or Not So Much? I'm going to be breaking down some things that happened over the weekend. Were they clutch worthy or were they like, not so much? So without further ado, man, we got lots to get into. This is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go. Welcome in, everyone. Hope you guys are doing good evening. Hope everything is doing all right. Man, we got lots going on in the world, man. So, hey, what better way to distract ourselves with some great sports talk live with me, Ryan Flowers, man. We're going to keep it popping. We're going to keep it moving and grooving, man. Hope you guys are enjoying wherever you're watching. I appreciate you guys. If you don't know where I'm at, you hit me on my social media platforms, which is scrolling down below, as you can see. Other than that, man, welcome in. Make sure you guys hit up my YouTube channel and subscribe, man. I'm trying to build that subscription up. So, hey, I need your help. So, and also make sure you share and like this comment, and also comment. And if you're in the live tonight, make sure you guys leave me a comment. I'll be positive to make sure I hit you guys up and shout you guys out live while we're streaming. So without further ado, man, let's get straight into it. So tonight, some word on the street is that the Texans and the Dolphins have engaged in some preliminary talks about possibly moving Deshaun Watson to the Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some other suitors out there. Obviously, before these allegations and things that were going on, Deshaun Watson was not happy in Houston. He's still not happy. We still don't know what the outcome is going to be with him, but we do know that teams are starting to kind of look towards the Texans' way, and the Texans are like, look, all right, well, look, we have a lamed up quarterback for the most part. He doesn't want to play for us, and he's probably going to be suspended. And I'm surprised that a suspension hasn't been levied yet by the NFL, but maybe that's going to be coming soon, because guess what? Week 1 is just around the corner, but about a week and a half before the season starts. It starts next week, Thursday, I believe. Thursday Night Football with the Dallas Cowboys and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and still no word from Roger Goodell in his office in regards to Deshaun Watson and over 20-something allegations that are pending in regards to being a sexual deviant. So this leads us to where we are now today, August 30th. We've heard reports over the weekend that the Miami Dolphins are first in line. They are looking to possibly pull off a trade with Deshaun Watson, right? For Deshaun Watson. And honestly, if that happens, if that was to occur, the Miami Dolphins are instantly Super Bowl contenders, because now they have the quarterback. And I'm saying all this and you're like, well, what about Tua? Well, Tua will probably be left on the shelf and pushed aside, because we all know Deshaun Watson is at least a top 5, top 6 quarterback in the National Football League. But the only holdup right now is that we don't know what's going to happen. Will he be able to play a lot this season, with all the stuff going around him? So the question that is begged to ask is he worth it? Is it worth it for the Miami Dolphins to give up multiple first-round picks, draft picks, etc., whatever the Houston Texans are asking for? Absolutely. Absolutely, he is definitely worth it. Even if he has to sit this year, and let's just assume that he gets off the hook, right? Let's just assume, for whatever reason, the evidence that's been brought against him is not resounding, overwhelming, and somehow, some way, he's able to play fully next year, 2022. That's still a win, because he's still young. I believe he's only 25, 26. So really hasn't hit his prime yet in his quarterbacking career. And you add him on a team of the Dolphins, who are legitimately ready to go. The head coach, Brian Flores, is looking really good in his third year going into. Their defense is stout. They went in the draft and got some guys. Will Fuller joined the team, former Houston Texans teammate of Deshaun Watson. They drafted Jalen Waddle. So they're looking to make some moves down in Miami. And honestly, for Tua, look, last year when he was drafted, I was a fan. I was a fan of him. I actually did like a breakdown of his couple of his games, or one game particularly where he had a pretty decent game. But then over time, I don't want to say I'm all the way out on Tua, but when you compare him to other quarterbacks, the way he looks, the way he throws the ball, I'm not quite sure. And I granted last year, it was tough. It was a COVID season, no OTAs really, no preseason games. He kind of was just thrown into the deep end there. And then hopefully, luckily enough, his team was well coached and they had a strong defense. A lot of those games were not won by him. A lot of those games were won by the defense, honestly, and special teams play. In certain games, he was pulled about 2 or 3 times for Ryan Fitzpatrick, who had to take over the reins. So this 6-3 record that people will throw out there with him while he was a starting quarterback, it's kind of a facade, because honestly, 6 of those games, he really didn't do anything. I don't think he even threw for $150 or even 200 if that's the case. So it's a no-brainer to me, man. If Deshaun Watson's available, even if he has to sit out this year, and for a fact you can get him next year, it's worth it. It's worth it, because at the end of the day, you need a quarterback. You need a strong quarterback to win in this league and to be very successful for a consistent basis. So why not go and get this guy? Now, as far as Deshaun Watson is concerned, like I've talked about this on previous episodes before, I don't know what his problem is, man. Like I'm not a professional athlete. I've never had to use massage therapist or anything like that, but I would assume you only need 1 or 2, maybe, or 3. You tried in the past, but apparently this is good. This guy was going on social media platforms, DMing certain women. I don't know, 20 something masseuses. It just doesn't make any sense. If there's smoke, there's fire. He may not have committed some of these crimes that these women are charging him on, but there's definitely something going on. Maybe the guy is just a sexual pedophile, unfortunately, and he's just freaky, and these women weren't able to handle it. I just don't understand how you even put yourself in this particular situation, considering what he is, and in the National Football League, you're a young African American quarterback for $1 billion franchise, and you're one of the top quarterbacks in all of the league. So I don't know, but like I said, in regards to this segment, is he worth it? Yeah, he's worth it. Even if you have to wait for him for a year, if you're Miami Dolphins, you got to pull the trigger. You got to figure this out, because here's the thing: you're going to put 2 out there, and I think their backup is Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett will play meaningful minutes at some point in this season, and if that's the case, you don't really believe in Tua. You just have to play him because you drafted him so high, and at that point, look, it's okay to bite the bullet. We all make mistakes. You've seen the Arizona Cardinals recently do it. They hired Steve Wilkes, I believe his name was, for 1 year. They drafted Josh Rosen that same year. It didn't work out for both of them. Wilkes was fired. Josh Rosen was sent packing. God knows where he's at right now. And look, they ended up with Cliff Kingsbury, who, the verdict really isn't out on him yet, but Kyler Murray looks like he's worked out for the Arizona Cardinals. So, we got technical difficulties. Anyway, we're going to keep it moving. Hope you guys can still hear me. We're having some technical difficulties on my end here with my camera. But hey, this is what I'm here for tonight. It's for the actual AFC preview. All right, we're gonna break down basically all of the AFC divisions from West to East, North and South, and I'm going to give you guys my top picks and who's going to win, and some little tidbits that you guys might want to kind of take note as we progress throughout the season. So we're going to first start on the West Coast, because I live on the West Coast, and actually I live in one of the cities, the Las Vegas Raiders, where they play at. But as you can see here on my picture here, the graphic here said I got the Chiefs winning the division. I mean, they're returning pretty much all of their starters on offense. Now, they have reconstructed their offensive line. They've added the likes of Orlando Brown, and it's another left tackle or another tackle or guard position. So they've bolstered up that offensive line, and they are ready to go for sure. It's going to be interesting because I don't know who's going to really be able to contend with them, right? So, out the gate, I mean, this is a no-brainer. The Kansas City Chiefs are number 1. They're going to win that division running away, I would say. Now, number 2 was a little tricky for me, just because, most people that know me know I don't like the Raiders at all. I don't like the Raiders, even though I live in the city in which they play in. I don't like the stadium. I don't like anything about the Raiders, okay? That's a fact. But I have to give them credit. The offense is looking really good. It's going to be good. Derek Carr is not the problem in Las Vegas or in the Raiders organization. So you Raider fans out there who keep blaming Derek Carr, he is not the problem. Your defense sucks. That was your problem last year, particularly. You beat the Chiefs last year, and also you also gave them a game here in Las Vegas, and you also lost to the Dolphins, a game that you should have won, but why your defense completely sucked. Derek Carr is not the problem. You have one of the top 3 tight ends in Darren Waller. Josh Jacobs, pretty solid back. I like the wideouts. Guys like Brian Edwards have kind of stood out this offseason. Zay Jones. They have some other guys out there. Henry Ruggs is still around, but I'm not really too big sold on him. Hunter Renfrow. And let's just be real. John Gruden is a very good offensive-minded coach. Now, he hasn't won anything really since winning that Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers years ago, but I do like the Raiders in this position. They got a new stadium. That place is going to be packed out. They're going to have a very, very, very strong home field advantage, and I think the city here in Las Vegas is ready for that, especially those Raider fans. They're going to be pumped, and so that's why I went with them at number 2. Now, the number 3 team I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, they could have easily went number 2, but I had to sit back and think and say, you know what? Listen, I like Justin Herbert, number 1. My biggest beef with the Los Angeles Chargers, and this has been my beef with them for quite some time, is their health. Some of their top players are pretty injury prone. You look at Derwin James, I don't think he's played 6 or 7 games in his career total in about 3 seasons. Keenan Allen does miss a lot of time now, and also Joey Bosa on the defensive side. They're number 1 defensive player. Their edge rusher, he has missed significant time last year and the season before. So, considering all that, when you got guys like that, are they going to be able to be there when you need them throughout the season? And my guess is that, it's going to be close. It's definitely going to be close with them because, like I said, injuries have just plagued this team for God knows how long. I don't even know, but it just seems like they always fall short with the injury bug, and they never can kind of just get over the hump. And on paper, they're one of the top teams as far as talent-wise is concerned, but for whatever reason, they just can't stay healthy. And rounding out the last team in the AFC West is the Denver Broncos. This one, it was kind of a no-brainer because, look, their quarterback is not the strongest in the league. And, you look in a division with, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, Teddy Bridgewater just doesn't sound like excellence. He's steady. He'll get the job done. He's not going to push the ball down the field. And they got lots of weapons on the offensive side. They just need a quarterback. Drew Lock was the guy there, but he got beat out. He probably will see some time because Teddy Bridgewater just doesn't make the plays down the field like you need to in the National Football League. So, their defense is going to be fine. Their defense is one of the top 5 defenses in all of the National Football League, but offensively, Teddy Bridgewater will not be able to carry the load for them, especially, when you're playing teams like the Chiefs and the Raiders and the Chargers who can score at a crazy clip. So, the AFC West, pretty self-explanatory there. Probably with, some people can say the Chargers and Raiders could flip, but this is what I'm sticking with, and that's what I'm going to go with. All right. Moving along to the South, the AFC South. We got the Titans coming in at number 1. I mean, look, guys, listen. You added Julio Jones. Now, they still didn't really address the pass rushing on the defensive end side of the ball, which showed up big time in the playoffs last year against the Baltimore Ravens. But offensively, the way they run the ball, their scheme, Derrick Henry, one of the top 2 backs in the National Football League as well. Ryan Tannehill coming off a tremendous season. Now he's got Julio Jones to throw to. He's got A.J. Brown, who is still there. That play action is going to be crazy down in Tennessee. Now, they don't really have to compete with a lot of other teams. The second team that they have to compete with, who we'll talk about next, is the Indianapolis Colts. They going into this, they were a quarterback away. Now, they went and they traded for Carson Wentz, who's got the foot injury. He's kind of, they're trying to get him back. And then they found out today that he's on the COVID-19 protocol list. So who knows what that means. Will he be ready to go? They're going to probably have to go to their backups, honestly, at this point, which is probably Jacob Eason. I believe he's still there. So I'm not quite sure what they're going to do there but the offensive line is stout. Of course, that's one of the top offensive lines in the National Football League. So, the Colts and their defense is top 5, 6 as well. And they have a strong head coach in Frank Reich. they're a good team. They're a good, solid team, but they're only going to go as far as their quarterback play, and that's been the case for the Colts for quite some time. You saw what they did last year in the playoffs with Phillip Rivers. They fell short to the Bills, but in a game that they were kind of in for a little bit, but they just were able to sustain that. They just need a quarterback, and if Carson Wentz can come out and be that guy, then maybe we got something going. But other than that, I still think the Tennessee Titans are the runaway favorites in that division. And then the last two, the Houston Texans. The only reason why I put them over the Jaguars is because they're probably going to go with Tyrod Taylor, who's been in the league a little bit, because like I said, we don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to play. Now, if Deshaun Watson plays, they're still number 3 because their roster really just isn't that good. They've traded away a bunch of their players, so it's like, who's left there? Honestly, I don't even know who's left on that roster. I think they picked up Philip Lindsay in free agency, the running back formerly from the Denver Broncos. Other than that, I'm not sure what the Houston Texans have to provide. The new head coach as well. But if Deshaun Watson's there, they're still the 3. If Tyrod Taylor's still playing, he's still there. They're still the number 3, but they're a far 3. It's really the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts running away with it. And finally, rounding out the bottom is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, rookie head coach Urban Meyer in the National Football League, at least, and Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall pick. He's going to get thrown into the fire. They moved off for Gardner Minshew. It's his team now. Travis Etienne, that hurt them a little bit, but they do have some young wideout talent. Laviska Shenault, a guy that they drafted last season out of Colorado. They got some veterans like Marvin Jones, but I just don't think this team is going to be that good. They're going to play hard. They're going to play tough, but I just don't see them having that firepower in order to keep up and stay relevant in the AFC South. So that's my AFC South previews and predictions. If I had to pick the best player, and I'll probably jump back to the West here in a second, the best player right now in the AFC South is Derrick Henry. And if Deshaun Watson plays, he's number 2. Those are the top 2 players there. And if you go back to the AFC West, Patrick Mahomes for sure. It's, and then the second player, it's going to be between Darren Waller and Justin Herbert. That's what I'm going to say. But I'm going to show Darren Waller some love, and I'm going to go with the best as the second best player in the AFC West. All right. So moving right along, we're going to transition to the AFC North. This one, probably not a surprise to some people. The Cleveland Browns are my number 1 pick to win the AFC North going into this season. Look, on paper, literally, they have no weaknesses. No weaknesses. The offensive line is strong. Quarterback maybe might be a weakness, but really, Baker, this is a big year for Baker Mayfield. He's going to be year 2 in a system that he really flourished in last year. OBJ comes back. They're good. And defensively, they're even better. That front line is tremendous. Myles Garrett on one end, Jadeveon Clowney, who, has maybe lived up to the top, overall pick, but he can still get after it every now and then. The back half of their secondary is really good. Guys like Denzel Ward. This team is ready to go. And I think finally this year, the Denver Broncos will get over that hump. Excuse me, not the Denver Broncos. The Cleveland Browns will get over that hump, and they will take the AFC North away from the reigning champs, the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know the reigning champs. Were they the reigning champs? I forgot if they were or not. But anyway, the Baltimore Ravens are the number 2 seed team in the AFC North right now. Look, here's the thing. They run the football, right? And teams know that. And they use Lamar Jackson a lot. I'm a fan of Lamar Jackson, but I'm not a fan like that. Like, I feel like he still needs to prove to me he can throw the ball when he needs to throw. It's fine and dandy when you're running it up. It looks cool. But when it was meaningful game time, like the playoffs, which, he didn't really do that much against the Tennessee Titans. He ran the ball. And then when they played the Bills, a stronger defense, he really didn't do much either. I think they're going to take a step back. They lost guys on the defensive side like Matthew Judon to the Patriots. DK Dobbins goes down. They'll probably still be able to run the football, but it's going to be close. It's going to be close. I think John Harbaugh will get this team ready to play, but I don't see them winning the division this year, and that's why I have them slotted at number 2. The Pittsburgh Steelers coming in at number 3. Look, Ben Roethlisberger is past his prime, way past his prime. There's no other talent on that team. Najee Harris is probably going to have to carry the bulk load of the work. They got to get back to running the football. They didn't really address their offensive line issues. So I just don't see how it's going to work. Juju Smith-Schuster, although I'm a fan of USC, I just don't see him getting it done, man. I really don't. I think he's still more infatuated with TikTok than actually playing football. And to me, that's a problem. And I'm surprised that they even re-signed him, just because he could be a distraction within the locker room. And I just don't see them winning the division. And I think they're going to miss the playoffs this year for sure. And rounding out the last team in the AFC North is the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, look, everyone loves Joe Burrow. I don't know. I didn't see enough of him yet. He got hurt. We're gonna see how he's gonna come off that knee injury, that leg injury. Look, this is another team that they decided to take a wide receiver in Jamar Chase instead of taking a left tackle in Penei Sewell. So to protect the blind side of your basically of your franchise, and Jamar Chase is struggling in preseason, dropping pretty much everything that is thrown his way. Hopefully he figures out, he gets that ship righted. But look, the Bengals they're just not a good football team right now. And Joe Burrow is going to have to take on a lot more. But that's just what it is. And so I just don't really see them competing. So as you can see here, I got the Browns, the Ravens, Steelers, and the Bengals. And that's my AFC North previews and predictions. Top two players in that division. Let's see. OBJ, I'm hoping he bounced back. I'm not a big fan of him. He hasn't really done a lot really since that miraculous catch against the Cowboys. I mean, he's done stuff, but I think he's still living off of that hype. But as far as best players in this division, Lamar Jackson for sure. And you know what? I'm gonna go with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, man. So we're gonna keep it on the ground, man. Keep it on the running game. And Lamar Jackson, Nick Chubb are the two best players in the AFC North. For and honorable mention, Myles Garrett on the defensive side for sure. All right. Finally, the last division is the AFC East. This was a toss-up for me. I wanted to go with the Dolphins, but I just don't trust in Tua. Now, they're still good enough to win 11, 12 games this season, despite Tua because of their defense. But honestly, this is a game of quarterbacks, and the Buffalo Bills have a good one in Josh Allen. And to me, that was the slight edge right there. I think the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen is a lot better. In a matchup wise, because I just don't think Tua can outplay Josh Allen. That's the reason why I went with the Buffalo Bills. Other than that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the only difference in that. Now, if for some reason Deshaun Watson ends up in Miami, then I might have to amend this and say the Dolphins are the number one team because they should be. But anyway, the next team on the list is the Miami Dolphins. I said like I said before, they have a lot of talent on defense and offense. They added guys like Jalen Waddle, their first round pick, Will Fuller, a guy that can stretch the field. Mike Gesicki is one of those unknown tight ends that people don't really know about. And he's a very strong player down the middle of the field. So I like them. And then number 3 is the New England Patriots. Like, look, Cam Newton should be the starter. A lot of people are just pushing for Mac Jones. He's going to get his chance eventually. But Cam Newton can still give you a little bit, especially the versatility-wise. Mac Jones is not running the football at all. He's just not. Cam Newton still gives the Patriots that ability to run the football, which that's something they're going to have to get back to doing, is running the football and using the quarterback like Cam Newton. Hopefully, he doesn't have any more COVID issues. He doesn't miss any more time. But, they added some offensive weapons. Hunter Henry, he's going to be out, I think, the season or miss significant amount of time. But they did add some other guys on the outside and another tight end, and Jonnu Smith, who's more of a route receiving type of tight end. So we'll see. I got them at number 3. And then the Jets. I mean, Zach Wilson, look, everyone is just in love with a lot of these young quarterbacks. Look, guys, it's preseason. A lot of teams did not play significant starters. They just did not. So a lot of these guys look really good against scrubs. And Zach Wilson is going to find out quickly what it's like to play a top caliber NFL defense when they open up this season. And I believe out the gate, they're playing like one of the top 5 or 6, pass rushing teams in all the National Football League. So good luck to him. The Jets don't have enough. And so, it is what it is. So we got the Bills at number 1, Dolphins 2, Patriots 3, and Jets number 4. And the 2 best players in the AFC East, Josh Allen for sure. And then you know what? I'm thinking let's see, with another top player on the AFC East. Who will stand out this year? I don't know. I don't know, Mike Gesicki. I'm gonna go with Mike Gesicki. I like him. Y'all like him. So we'll just have to wait and see. So that's pretty much it for the AFC. You're gonna have to tune in next week. Sorry, you seem like this weird glitchy. It's not your screen, it's my camera. I had to switch to another camera while during the live feed right here. Something happened with my other camera, but hey, this is show business. I got to keep it rolling. I'm a one-man show. But anyway, so that's the preview of the 2021 AFC conference preview and predictions. Look, you have to stay tuned next week for the NFC because the season, preseason just wrapped up. I'm going to get that going. So next week. But yeah, so anyway, all right, we're going to finish off the show strongly here with this last segment called Is It Clutch or Not So Much? Basically, things that happened over the weekend or recently. I'm going to say, hey, did it come in clutch? Is it clutch worthy? Is it something that you should be cheering or praising, or should you just be like, nah, I should be passing up on it, right? And so this weekend, the first nominee or nomination for the clutch or not so much is the Jake Paul and the Tyron Woodley fight, and that's a not so much. Jake Paul wins again. And honestly, listen, people. Like, I don't want to sound like this old guy, but listen. Let's get one thing straight, and I'm going to look straight into the camera. Let's get one thing straight. First and foremost, Jake Paul is not a boxer, okay? He's play boxing at this point, okay? I'm going to give him his credit. He's won. He's, 4-0, okay? You beat Nate Robinson, you beat Ben Askren, and some other guy, and then you somehow survived Tyron Woodley, which Tyron Woodley kind of messed it up. He probably could have won the fight, but he just wasn't aggressive. Look, people who don't watch boxing, I keep seeing on social media feeds, oh, well, you look at the CompuBox, he threw more. Look, boxing is judged more, is not just based on punches landed. Yes, that's a part of the scoring, but defense, your ability, your aggression, your behavior in the ring, those are things that need to be taken account. And honestly, that fight probably should have been a draw at the end of the day. One thing I will give Jake Paul and his brother, I will give them 100% credit. They know how to turn up a show. Like, they know how to bring the masses in. That I will give them credit, because at this point, boxing is a mockery. And companies like Showtime, I'm watching the feed last night, and I'm just like, they were so biased. Like, they're like, oh, look at that right hook. And then you look at the replay, it doesn't even hit anything. He hits the glove of Tyron Woodley, but the commentators, they're getting paid by somebody to hype this up even more than what it is. And then all these, these people on social media who are like, yeah, Jake Paul's legit. I'll tell you right now, 100%. If he fights a boxer, he will lose and he will be embarrassed. Okay. Now, if he wins, then I'll be the first to come on here and say, good job. You're legit. But don't beat up Nate Robinson and a 40-something-year-old Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley, who really isn't a boxer. None of these guys are boxers. Beat a boxer, and then we can talk. So not so much with this weekend with that particular fight. But anyway. All right, moving along. The Gardner Minshew trade to the Eagles. Not so much. Not sure what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing. Does that mean Joe Flacco's out? Their coach, Nick Sirianni, whatever the hell his name is, he's a joke. I don't know what the hell he's going to be doing there. And you Eagles fans better be concerned because, listen, your team, you guys have no identity. I think Jalen Hurts deserves the starting job from the jump to be in competition with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco ain't won a Super Bowl in like 10 years, man. Like, that ship has sailed. Joe Flacco's done. And even though Gardner Minshew is a nice little player, come on, man. Really, Philadelphia Eagles? Really, Nick Sirianni? So, not so much with that one. So I don't know. And I don't like the Eagles. They suck. But anyway. And lastly, this is a clutch moment. For those college football is back. And the UCLA Bruins lined up against Hawaii. I mean, they just blew the doors off them, 44-10 or some crazy number like that. Now, UCLA does have a big matchup this weekend against LSU in Pasadena, which is significant because we all know the SEC does not travel west of the Mississippi, very rarely. So, but here, I got a clip for you guys. And this run by Zach Charbonnet, he's a transfer from Michigan, and I bet you Michigan fans wish you guys had him. But check out this clip from Zach Charbonnet.
Move on to the next play. Over 100 yards rushing now for UCLA. And why not more of the same? Keep feeding them. Charbonnet refuses to go down, and he'll go the distance.
Yeah, that's a big dude. He's like 6'2", 6'3", 235. He's a back. And me being a USC fan, I'm a little nervous about that dude because UCLA, a lot of people have UCLA as a dark horse team. We're gonna have to wait and see. They got a big one, like I said, against LSU. LSU, they're not the same LSU, but they're still LSU, if that makes any sense, right? They're still an SEC team. Now they're gonna come to the Pac-10, or they're gonna come west. We're gonna see what happens. I believe that game is on Fox at 5:30, so that's a game you might want to check out this evening. But anyway, that's all I got for tonight, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I did. Be on the lookout for my next show next week, Monday. Well, I'm probably going to be breaking down and previewing and giving my predictions on the NFC, all the divisions from the east to the west to the north and the south, and whatever is breaking in sports news around the world. Until then, man, everyone enjoy your evening. This is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Peace out, guys.